I mean, Hunter Tyson's doing a good job. I think he's our most vocal guy. I think he's the guy that guys look to and listen to the most. I think he's got, a strong belief and understanding of what we're trying to do and confidence in how we do things. And so guys naturally look to him. It is a little bit different. The two grad guys are there. David's very quiet. I wish he would be a little more vocal. Nas is doing a good job of trying to help in that way. I think some of the other guys, Al and Nick, it's not as natural, so it's a struggle for them to do it as much as we would like. PJ's just concentrating on trying to be a good player right now, and that's probably enough for him. So we got to kind of work through some of those older guys, but I think Hunter's been the guy who's been the most vocal and consistently has had the best messages.
What do you want to see PJ get better at defensively? You said
Well,
tonight
he let
wasn't
it
his
in a little
best.
bit too much tonight. He let it in a little bit. He was, he did a pretty good job protecting the basket, rotating when we got beat, but there were times he didn't get back in his position defensively, and the ball got inside a little bit against him, and I think they scored a couple baskets. He got a foul one time too.
Right, he shot a couple threes, made one of them. I guess depending on the matchup, is he a guy that could step out and stretch the floor?
Yes, he absolutely can step out and shoot threes, and it's a shot he's worked on since high school, and we're still working with him on it. And he's shooting the ball pretty well. So yes, absolutely, he can take some of those shots.
Coach, going back to David Collins, do you expect his offensive role to develop throughout the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be kind of game to game, like a lot of guys. But I do think obviously there are games he's going to have, some big nights when he's got a matchup. I think that's, I don't know that we have a pure go-to guy right now. I think that's, point of concern as a coach. You kind of wish that there was a definite guy more times than not. But he's a guy that I think in certain situations could be a guy that we do that with.
You mentioned that you're going to be playing a lot of guys this year. Is that going to be a focus like it was last year, or more just trying to figure out what your rotations?
Well, I think it's right now it's a little bit of both. I think we'd like to do that. Obviously, guys have to earn it though. You don't just do it because guys don't earn it. And so it could look different in other games. If close game, you might not see as many guys get as many minutes. Maybe you don't have 9-10 guys getting double-figure minutes. But I'd like to do that and develop our bench a little bit if we can.
How close is PJ to, or is he close at all to being the guy kind of like you can feel like you can run your offense through the way you did?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's to be determined. Again, he's a guy that I think will get some touches in some critical times. Is it every game? I don't know. This was by far one of his better games. He's played pretty well in practice. Hasn't played great every day. He's had some tough days, but he's, there's no question that he's on the uptick. You can see it. He's working really hard with it, and he just needs to show it, consistently, which is the next big step for a lot of guys.
With PJ and the two freshmen in the post, it kind of sounds like it's going to be a year you're going to have some growing pains down there.
Could be at times, probably. It's it's one of those deals where you're kind of caught in that situation. We had the young guards a couple years back. It's hard to sign guys sometimes when you have a guy like PJ, right? Like he's a deterrent to guys wanting to come because everybody pretty much knows, hey, that guy's a top 75 recruit who was waiting in the wings and is now probably going to be a 2-3 year starter for you. It's not easy to just go get a guy to come sign up to do that. We had the two freshmen, and kind of knew those guys were coming, so it was like, hey, do you want a bunch more? Not really. You want those guys like confidence in Ian, confidence in Ben, that they can do it. So this happens sometimes in recruiting the way it is.
You think it's a source of motivation for PJ that you're like, I don't know if he's go-to guy?
I don't know. I mean, I hope he is. Like, I want them all to be, but he certainly has some ability to be that, no question about it. And that's obviously why we recruited him, and we have a lot of confidence in him. This was a big step for him to this year to do that in a game. We need him to do it consistently. consistently. It's hard to do it game after game. I mean, that's when you become elite players, right? All conference players are guys that carry their team on their back in certain situations. There's a lot of games in basketball that come down to a couple possessions, and more times than not, it's not the coach, it's a player. It's a player making plays. It's not coaches coming up with great X's and O's and sets, and it's guys making plays. You know, Amir Sims was that guy for sure last year, and you know, PJ's gonna have a great opportunity. But he's young. I mean, he is only a sophomore. You know, Amir was a senior last year who started for 3 years. So, God, we have to remember that.
We have time for one more or two more if anyone has one.
Coach, you have a lot of veteran guards who can play make and initiate offensively. Do you think that's going to be a strength of the team this season?
Yeah, I hope so. And they got to play better, right? I mean, Nick and Al and Alex and guys that have been in the program. I mean, they're, you know, at the 1 and 2, and Chase now, who has maybe not quite as much experience as those guys. David Collins, you throw him in there because he's a grad guy that's played a lot. Like, those guys are older players that, you know, you hope you see really good things from. In as much as anything, it's just consistency in play, consistency in performance, so you kind of know what you're getting. And you know, again, I thought Nick had a great floor game today. Didn't score as much, but man, I thought he did a lot of great things in the open court. Got guys shots, got us some layups. I thought he was very efficient. Good to see.
Anything else for Coach?
Appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you.